This is Christine with Cocoa Daisy, and today I wanted to share with you a bunch of fun ways to use our stamp sets. These are the stamp sets that were part of the October kit, the Halloween kit, and then we have a stamp set from the Traveler's Notebook Memory Keeping Kit and a stamp set from the Pocket Kit. And I thought it would be fun to share some ideas on how to layer these stamps in different ways that you can use them together. There's a lot of different fun things that you can do with the stamp sets as opposed to just using each one individually. So I thought I would share some of those ideas. When we put the stamp sets together, when we design them, a lot of times I have ideas in my head of how I want to use them, and I thought it was time for me to start maybe doing a few little stamping videos to share those ideas. So I've started a little bit just because I had so many ideas. I thought this is going to be a really long video if you watch me stamp everything. So I've started a few, and then I'm just going to kind of expand on those. So one of the stamp sets, this one from the Pocket Memory Keeping Kit, had this pretty wreath, and so I stamped that. One of the easy things that you can do is stamp the wreath and then stamp the different sentiments inside of it. And you can take that one step further though by layering a little bit more. So one of the things you can do is you can take the arrow. So you can see where we've just done these just regular. We've stamped the sentiment inside of the wreath, which is really pretty. But then the other thing that you can do is then take that arrow, move these over so I don't get my hand in. And I'm not doing this right on top, so you'll have to forgive me if they're not lined up perfectly. But so you can add a little arrow underneath, and then you can do the same thing with even another layer. If we go, I'm going to do the same color again for this one. So you can see I did that, but now I'm going to add actually another word underneath it. So if I take this one, and this one just says October, and I'm going to do that in that same kind of rusty color, and I'm going to put it underneath. So now you can see where you've layered a couple of the words with the arrow. And then you've got the same thing here where I've got an arrow underneath the saying. Put these back a minute. And then I've started to add a few of the little leaves that were in this stamp set. And that's a fun way to create a lot of movement. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to stamp another little leaf right there. And you can add as many or as few as you want on there. And it's a fun way to just kind of add some of that to it. Now I'm going to go on with a few more of these. So here you can see where you can put just a leaf in the middle. Now, the leaves that were on the TNMK kit, the Traveler's Notebook Memory Keeping Kit, are two-step leaves, and I'll show you those in a minute. But you can use them individually as well. So here I've done one, and I think that just the wreath with the leaf is very pretty. But then again, you can go ahead and add another saying to make another layer over top. And so you can do that right over top of the leaf as well. So that's pretty. And then you can do the same thing without the wreath this time if you wanted to use just the leaves layered with a saying. So I'm going to do that as well. I'll do that in that pretty rusty color. So there's colorful fall. And then I'm going to go back to that pretty script October word, and I'm going to do that one. I'm going to do that in this mossy green color. So there's so many different ways that you can layer these. So now this one, I think I'm going to do would be fun as kind of a Halloween. So I'm going to use a couple of things from the Halloween stamp set. So there's this little saying that says, "So very spooky." I'm going to put that right in the middle, right there. And then I'm going to take my little bats that were from that as well. And I'm going to just put those kind of going off like that. So that kind of, again, creates that movement, and it's a great way to layer. Let's see, there's another one. Oh, let's do these two autumns here. So this is a great block stamp. I love that font. It's a great autumn. It's nice and heavy, so it works really well then if you want to add something in kind of a script. So there's a long saying here that we can add right in the middle of that autumn, right over top of it. So I'm going to do that in this green. I'm going to put that over top of that. How pretty is that? And then you can also, there's a little hello word, again in a nice script. That goes well with that bold. I'm going to put that right at the top. So it says hello autumn. So there's another way that you can layer those. So now I want to show a few, let me go to this two-step one. So you can see I've done that bold autumn stamp, and then I have the leaves. Now you could leave those just as is and maybe add a few more, but I want to show you how you then layer those leaf stamps because they're meant to be used that way. So I'm going to take, it's the same shape. I'm going to go a darker color, and I'm going to just, and now if you, the beautiful thing about this is it looks good even if it's not perfectly lined up. And in fact, a lot of times I like to do them on purpose, just a little off center, because I think it looks really pretty. So there's that one, and then I'll do the other two in a minute as well. And I'm going to do this in the darker green. Look how cute that is. And then, let's see. And this one, that last one, I think I will do in that same kind of rusty color again. I'll go over that one. Oh. How cute is that? So it's another way, and you could easily have done this in the yellow and then used a bunch of the smaller leaves around it. There's so many ways that you can layer these. And you could just keep going and going and going. Let's see, I have a little cheat sheet, so I'm trying to make sure I show you a bunch of them. So we'll go back to the bats a minute. So I started a little stripe of the bats, and then there is a small little saying here, and it is official chocolate tester, which is super cute. So I'm going to stamp that in a dark orange or bright orange right above that line of bats. So you could stop it there, or if you wanted to, you could make almost like a whole border and continue on with that. The other thing that you could do with the bats, and again kind of creating that angled movement, is stamp the Happy Halloween and have the bats kind of flying across from that. That's really cute too. And then now we had, I stamped these already. These were a couple of the cute little dressed up Simons and a couple of the sayings that you could put with them. I want to show you a couple of neat things you can do with the spider webs. So the spider webs, you can do one. So we've stamped those already. And I'm going to add this So Very Spooky. And then you could just real simple add, there's a teeny tiny little spider that came with the set as well. And then you could just add him in there. So you could do that. You could do a simple Happy Halloween on one of them. And that one you just put right over top of the spider web. And then you could also do an October 31, which is cute. So again, if you're using the same idea as you did with the wreaths and the different sayings, you can do kind of the same thing with that spider web and just layer so many different things over top of them. The October 31, you can do this cute little I Want Candy over top of it as well. Let me do that one too. So it's super easy. And then of course, any of these you could add the bats to, you could add the spider to, and you could continue on layering those as well. And then other super simple things that you can do, like this little pumpkin carving. That one I stamped, and then you could add just the little teeny jack-o'-lantern next to that. And then we had this this cute saying, "This witch please," which I thought was really fun. And then these stars. So what I'm going to do is, I stamped that one already, and you could just add these stars kind of around that, like that, kind of the same idea as the same with the bats. Or you could actually stamp a bunch of these, kind of making a little background, which is cute all on its own. But then you're doing that same idea then and adding, you're doing layering again. Do that over top, whoop, over top. I did not get that right. We're gonna try it one more time. It's gonna be a mess, but you get the idea. There we go. So that would be the witch please over top of, and you could do as many stars as you wanted to, or as few as you wanted to. And then let's see. Oh, and then I have 2 October 31s. So those are cute. You can use those as is. Again, we're gonna layer, and I'm gonna take that So Very Spooky again, and I'm gonna put that in black right through one of them. And of course you can do these in whatever colors that you wanted to. And then I thought this little skull and crossbones would be cute on each side as well of the October 31. So you can do that on each side as well. So there's so many different things that you can do with these. There's so many fun ways of using them. This one, so I did another page, and I'm just gonna, because it's a larger stamp, I just wanted to kind of show you some ideas with this others. There's this, I had someone make a comment, they wondered what this was. Was it grass? It's actually just a border stamp. So it adds a lot of texture. There's a lot of different things that you could do with that. One of my favorite things to do with any sort of kind of a lined stamp like this is to actually stamp it off the edge of a page. I like the way that looks. It adds just a little bit of interest on the top of like your traveler's notebook page. That's a fun way to use that, or down the side. But you can also use it to make patterns. So you can see here where there's a couple different ways you can make patterns. Again, you can layer, and again you can do that same idea, kind of like building a border with the stamps, and the same way with this way. So there, you could do this and do it along a page, and instead of having a stamped word, you could have a photograph right here. So it's a great tool to use to draw your eye into a certain part of the photograph if you wanted to. So that's what I would use that stamp for. There's obviously a lot more other things that you can do with it, but there's a few ideas. And then I'm going to bring this back and show it to you again. So the one thing that I encourage you to do when you get the stamp sets is to, if you're able to get more than one, view them as one large stamp set, and that you can layer them and use them in so many multiple ways. And just try to think outside the box and have fun with your stamping.